Today we're checking out the new iPhone 16e. It only comes in two colors, black or the one shown here is white, but apparently this is replacing the iPhone SE, and it is more expensive now at $599, but still $200 under the regular iPhone 16. Wow, this actually looks a lot cooler than I was expecting. Has sort of a matte finish to it. Actually looks really nice in person. Sort of a matte finish to it. Really looks like a frosted glass. You've got the same storage options on here at 128, 256, or 512. It also has the A18 chip, just like the regular iPhone 16. Only 4-core GPU versus 5. And it looks like this one's eSIM only, so no physical SIM card. Kind of weird, it only has Wi-Fi 6 instead of Wi-Fi 7, but it does have Bluetooth 5.3, just like the regular 16. You'll also get Apple Intelligence, which I think most people expected. It's also made of aluminum with glass on the back. It's got a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR display, just like the regular iPhone 16. And of course, this has the notch instead of the dynamic island. Here's a quick size comparison next to the regular iPhone 16 and the iPhone 13. I feel like the build quality on this is just as nice as the regular iPhone 16. Kind of interesting, the case off of my iPhone 13 actually seems to fit the new iPhone 16e. I don't think I would use it because of the camera opening, but you can see the body hasn't really changed much. About the same resolution at 2532 by 1170. It only goes up to 1200 nits peak brightness versus 1600 for the regular iPhone 16, so not quite as bright. Looks to be about the same bezels as the iPhone 13 and 16 as well. Of course, you have the action button on here where you can customize it for silent mode, camera, voice memo, flashlight, visual intelligence, translate, magnifier, or a shortcut to pretty much any app on your phone. Not a huge surprise, but the software on here is going to look pretty much the same as all other iPhones that have came out within the last few years, especially the older ones that still have the notch. It's currently using about 26 gigabytes of the 128 available. Looks like it also has an update for iOS 18.3.1, so we might as well go ahead and do that. Obviously, you have different color options for the wallpaper. Personally, I like to use the official wallpaper that's on the box or that they show on their website. I'm kind of surprised it's not on that by default. Now, just looking at the screen quality on this versus the regular 16, I don't feel like it's as big of a difference as you think just when comparing the specs. You can see the iPhone doesn't really rock back and forth on the 16e since you only have one camera. As far as performance goes, you can tell just by the Geekbench scores, it's pretty much identical to the regular iPhone 16 on single and multi-core scores. Same thing with GPU performance as well. I know playing PUBG Mobile and Asphalt Legends Unite are fairly smooth on here as expected, but you can play pretty much any game in the App Store on here and you shouldn't have any issues. It did get a little warm when testing, but just barely noticeable. Obviously, it's going to depend on which games you're playing and what settings you have those games on. It also has a slower wireless charging at 7.5 watts instead of 25 or 30. It doesn't have MagSafe built into the phone, but you can see it still kind of sticks to the back. Just not like the ones that have MagSafe built in. But to me, I don't know if it's that important, considering a lot of case makers have the magnet included. I also ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness, and it lasted under 15 hours, which is around 2 hours less than the regular iPhone 16. Now, obviously, there's a lot of variables when it comes to battery life, but considering Apple is saying this should last longer than the regular iPhone 16, plus the regular 16 has a brighter screen, this is sort of confusing, but maybe I'll have to do some more testing. Now, the speakers on here sound pretty similar to the regular iPhone 16, but here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of how it sounds. you only get one camera now at 48 megapixels, and then you've got a 12 megapixel front-facing camera, just like the regular iPhone 16. You don't get the camera control on here, although I feel sometimes that gets in the way, or I accidentally press that. You can see in the camera app, you've got time-lapse, slow-mo, video, photo, portrait, and pano. You can see up in the corner, you can go up to 4K 60 frames per second for video recording. Pretty fast shutter speed on here. Here's a few quick samples just to give you an idea of how the camera quality is on the iPhone 16e. Overall, this has pretty good camera quality, as you would expect from an iPhone. I know a lot of people think this phone's too expensive for the specs, but I can see a lot of people getting this over the regular 16 just because it's cheaper. It has about the same performance. It's got really good battery life, and it gives you most of the features that you get on the 16 at a more affordable price. So yeah, I could definitely see some people getting this over the regular 16, especially if you're looking for a smaller phone. However, I do agree with some of the other videos I've seen that suggest looking at older models that have some better features for about the same price. I may have to compare this a little closer to the regular iPhone 16, but if you like phones, tablets, and other tech, I've got a lot more stuff that I'm working on, so keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.